Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, hermanos y hermanos, welcome to another edition of the Live from the Heartland Show. And hello, Rogers Park.
Hello.
We are here live at the Heartland Cafe, and we are here all the time now. And we encourage all of you who are close by to come right on over. And we're going to have a wonderful show. We're going to have our one and only true beloved co-host, Katy Hogan, talking about a little trailblazing work she did, trail repair work out there in Idaho. And we're going to have our comrade Michael Harrington from Network 49 talking about police reform and what's going on. And we're going to end the show with a wonderful guy named Eric Noden, who is a steel guitar player. And before all that starts, I'm here with Thom Clark and Katy Hogan, and we hope you are listening in. Good morning.
Good morning,
Great to
everybody.
have you back, Katy. Good morning, Michael.
I did. Here we are at the old Red Line Tab. Now it's Heartland Bar. I'm sorry, I'm old.
We know, I'm not sure what it's.
Well, we're going to call it the Heartland Bar, 7006 North Glenwood, and come on by.
They're serving
Coffee.
food here, they're serving great drinks and delicious coffee.
Yeah.
Well, Katy, while you were working on trails, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, we got a school funding bill negotiated, except there seemed to be a couple of glitches. The governor came out after saying this was a great compromise, came out in a speech yesterday saying, well, I still have some problems with it, which we'll deal with in a separate piece of legislation. And now it's becoming clear that their effort to create a tax credit that would divert taxpayer money to non-public schools is causing some other legislators to maybe have second thoughts about this grand compromise. It's going to be a tough weekend for some of these folks, including our own Kelly Cassidy. Will Guzzardi has already come out against.
Right on, brother.
It's going to be interesting to see if Madigan can actually get enough votes on Monday to make this thing go through.
Whereas locally, good, hard, on-the-ground organizing for a couple of years now, and nonstop, really, has resulted in a victory on not expanding the number of seats in the existing charter schools in our neighborhood.
It's called the Math and Science Academy will not be able to grow the way they wanted to, and Sullivan High School can continue its trek to improve because it may not have the same kind of budgetary constraints that many neighborhood public schools have been suffering the last few years.
Right. So
People may want to contact their state reps and encourage them not to go with this education bill.
they may well do that. You should indeed just read about it and try and get clear on what they're doing. Another Network 49 piece is the scheduled canvas today, which again starts out at this exact spot where we're sitting, 7006 North Glenwood. You can join us at 10:30 to get an orientation, a partner, a packet, and go out and meet your neighbors.
Canvassing in the neighborhood seems like an interesting way to mark Women's Equality Day, Katy.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
We're still waiting. Still waiting for a little equality out here,
I'm
people.
rooting for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's 97 years now, and we don't have equality, and we have a president who'd like us to go backwards. And so...
Not the least of which is his giving a pardon to a white supremacist who broke the law.
Well, that has more to do with his whiteness than his maleness, but I think those things can be lumped together. This particular week, I come out of the woods and what the heck is going on in my country?
My reaction as I left for the woods and was hearing the beginning reaction to this speech in Phoenix is, heck, this is what we were hearing on the campaign trail all last year. A lot of what he had to say in Phoenix he's been saying for 2 years. So what are people surprised about?
Well, he's going to keep saying it over and over. I know that Bannon, who he kicked out of the White House supposedly, has basically said that he can win, the right can win if they keep pushing economic nationalism while the Democrats and progressives keep talking about various other specific issues.
And why is it that we accept this phrase, economic nationalism?
Yeah, I don't know.
What the hell is it?
It's kind of
Excuse me.
Self-centered, self-interest, us against them.
Is it the opposite of what they call entitlements?
Or capitalism?
Opposite of a capitalism?
Well, I'm not sure what the nationalist part is unless you're talking about a form of governance like the Nazis had.
Okay, I'm just happy that Sebastian Gorka, that piece of, you know what,
Yes.
is no longer in what used to be called the People's House. I've also noticed that
It's a small consolation prize for the other stuff.
It really is, you're so right. Transgender service persons not needed or wanted by this Commander-in-Chief.
Even after the Joint Chief of Staff said that's not particularly our concern,
Yeah.
we want to work with anyone who wants to serve their country.
Okay, so let's just finish out the absurdity announcements with the 45s torpedoing the GOP's ability to compromise on budget issues by saying, you know, money for my wall or we shut it down.
I hate it when you do that, even when you're being critical of the president.
Yeah, well, sorry, I couldn't help it.
Commentators this week don't believe they've ever heard any president threaten to shut down the government
No.
because one of his policy things wasn't getting the attention that he thought it should get.
Right.
And speaking of shutdowns, I'm not sure it's going that far, but the protests around the National Football League, none of the teams taking Colin Kaepernick, a very qualified quarterback, led his team to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. He still doesn't have a job. There was a demonstration in New York at the NFL headquarters with lots of people, and the Cleveland Browns, many black and some white players actually took the knee in one of the games recently, in the preseason games.
God
So
love
that's
you.
going on in its building. It's
I'm
not
cheering
going
for
away.
Cleveland this season.
Don't you wonder sometimes what William Shakespeare would make of some of our current events and what kind of a play would come out of it?
I haven't really thought that way.
Yeah, I can't say
There's something on my mind.
it was a,
I'm
was
trying to
an
remember what
attempt at a
Shakespeare play I
segue.
saw it in my
6:30 tonight in Loyola Park, Romeo and Juliet.
Ah!
That's what he was getting at.
Shakespeare in the
That's
Park.
A little bit of a
Our
reach
last
there,
chance
Casey,
here.
but okay.
But it got everybody awake, right?
Yeah. The only thing I can remember about going to the Shakespeare Stratford Theater in Connecticut as a kid was the guy in the play, when I saw him in the bar later, had a really cool way he combed his hair that I tried to emulate when I had hair.
Thank you for sharing that, Marcus.
Find a picture for me to read that.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Next Friday, our esteemed colleague here is opening yet another photo exhibit, The Americas, Outskirts and Back Streets, at the Adventureland Gallery at 1513
Oh,
Northwestern.
my fave.
The opening is Friday, September 1st. I can't believe it's Labor Day weekend already.
Mhm.
6 to 10 p.m. Michael, congratulations on another show.
This will be a good one. I've got white frames this time, and I have many new photos that people have not seen before.
So show up for those white frames instead of black frames, because I'm sure that will
I
be
got a few.
the hit of the show.
That'll be the thing that just puts it over the top, baby. Just to remind any white people out there, if they want to do something useful, Surge, Standing Up for Racial Justice, exists for you to do your work through it. SURJ, they meet monthly or bi-monthly here in Chicago and all across the country. It's a useful exercise. You
What-
really
I don't
need to
understand.
stand up and be counted as not one of the big guys. What?
I'm not quite sure I understand what it does or it is.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, good.
Maybe we'll have some of them on the show to talk about it some more.